Hey everybody, it's Elaine, the Ninja Life Coach, and welcome to my channel today. Today, I'm going to attempt to make some rice flour blueberry bread. So sit back, grab yourselves a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. I'm back, and as you can tell, I have on no makeup, and we're just going to get real and raw today. Back about a couple of months ago, I guess it was probably the first of the year, end of last year, I started having some trouble with my stomach. And this proceeded on through the month of January until I finally got a little bit of relief when the doctor changed my medication. But during that process, someone suggested that I cut out gluten in my diet, or at least eliminate wheat flour. So I've been doing that for about 3.5 weeks. Now I'm just going to tell you, I hate it because I love bread, I love yeast rolls, I love sourdough bread. If it is vaguely shaped like a bun or a roll or a loaf of bread in any way, I love it. So that has been very difficult for me, and I'm not really much of a baker, to be honest. I don't bake pies and cakes and stuff like that. I mean, you couldn't tell it from looking at me because I love to eat. But I have just never been very good in the kitchen, other than just simple Southern meals. Now, I have made this one time before, and when I did make it, I left out the sugar, so it was quite the disaster. But I'm going to attempt it again today, and I'm not going to leave out the sugar this time. I've made myself a note. Don't leave out the sugar. So I'll be sure to post the recipe down in the description box. I got this recipe off Pinterest. I have no idea where it came from. It's several cooking vloggers have done this recipe. It looks really good, and I think I could do it because it doesn't look very difficult. So back here is my stove, and I'm going to try to mix everything right here on the counter. I have very limited counter space here in my kitchen, so this is not going to be real pretty like a cooking channel because I have one little tripod and my iPhone filming this. So we're going to see how this goes. Here we go, girls. Okay, you all, so here is the recipe. It has an egg, 1 egg, 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of melted butter, 1 cup sour cream, 1 3/4 cups of rice flour, 1/2 cup of potato or cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1.5 cups of blueberry. Now you preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then in a large bowl, you whisk the egg and then add the sugar and whisk a little longer. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me grab my eggs over here. And here is the most valuable commodity on the face of this planet right now. So I'm going to whisk my egg. And this old bowl, y'all, I need some new bowls, but this one is really getting some age on it. So I'm just going to whisk this thing together. Okay, now that I've got this whisked, it says to add the 3/4 cup of sugar, little at a time, and whisk a little while longer. So, whisking away. This changes the consistency of the eggs. Y'all that cook probably know this, but this is a new thing to me. So, to me, this is kind of fun right here. Put the rest of it in here. That wasn't necessarily just little at a time, but I'm in a hurry to get this thing in the oven. So you should have, if I have done this correctly, which who knows, I may have done this incorrectly, you're going to have a consistency of something that looks like this. It's going to be like that. Then after you do that, you want to stir in your melted butter, which is right here, 1/4 cup. So added that, stir that in. It didn't change the consistency of this a whole lot, but it sure did make it look nice and creamy. So the next thing that we're gonna do, we'll see what the recipe says. Then it says add the sour cream. Now I've got what's left over here in my little container from Aldi's. So let me grab a spoon. And I'm just gonna add this in. Now it doesn't say to bring this to room temperature or anything like that. So this just came right straight out of the refrigerator. And let's whisk it all in there. Here we go, girls. You could probably do this in a blender if you wanted to. I don't know, it says whisk. So I'm whisking. I'm not a good enough cook to try to do anything different to the recipe. Although there are times when I do try and it's usually an epic fail. So I usually try to stick with the recipe, especially when I'm doing something new. So got all that whisked together. It's nice, light, fluffy, and ready to go. Then you stir in the rice, potato starch, and baking flour, which is right here. Now, I have made my own rice flour by grinding up some long grain rice. Supposedly, you can do that because, ladies, I bought a bag of rice flour. Well, that thing was like $7 for a little package about this big. There were like 4 cups of rice in there. And I'm like, this is not gonna be cost effective unless I can figure out how to do my own rice. So I'm gonna take my spatula and I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna stir this around a little bit to make sure this is nice and blended before I go to stirring it in this bowl. So I want to make sure that my flour, my baking powder, and my cornstarch are all together. Now that should do it right there. So I am gonna stir this in. Whoops. And I'm gonna go little at a time with this, y'all. Just little at a time. Because like I said, I have no idea what this is gonna do. This may or may not work. Hopefully it will though. The picture from the vlog that I got this from looked really good. And like I said, I've made this before and I'm sure it would have been good if I hadn't forgot to put the sugar in. Don't ask me how I did that. It's the very first step to the instructions. So here we go. Let's just do the rest of it in there. Now this is starting to form into something floury looking. So we'll see how this goes. This, with me whipping that butter together, whisking it in there with the butter, the sugar, this looks like a much lighter bread than the last time I made this. So that sugar really makes a difference. Now I have made some just regular bread with rice flour and it was good. It was actually good, but if you're looking for something to take the place of your wheat flour, this is not going to produce a bread like wheat flour. This produces a bread like cornbread. It's got a gritty type of texture to it. It's very, I guess what the chefs call rustic. Not that I'm an expert on that by any means, but it's more of a gritty cornbread, cornmeal type of bread. It's good, but that's what it is. Girl, I can't pet you right now. I am trying to cook. Hang on, everybody, just a second. Come on. Okay, so I let Trixie in the backyard. Now that I've done this and got all this stirred up, it says gently fold in the blueberries. So I don't have a lot of fancy equipment, y'all. I don't have a lot of really good mixing cups or anything. So these mixing cups, this one I've got here belonged to my mother. And this one came out of a child's little Tupperware cook set. It belonged to my daughter when she was little. And I have one glass measuring cup, and I want to get one of those bigger ones. I've just got to make it a priority and do it. So let me fold some more of these in here. I like mine pretty blueberry-ish, so I'm gonna do quite a few of these. I can see, it says 1.5 cups, and I measured this as best as I could. It's kind of hard to measure blueberries, I think, because they're round, and it's kind of hard to get them right. But this is what the batter looks like after I have followed the steps. Looks like that right there. All right, I've got my greased pan right here. And it says spoon it in, so here we go, girls. This is not a spoon, but the spatula should work just fine, I would think. I can tell the consistency of this it's a good consistency. Everything mixed up really, really well. It's looking pretty good. It's easy to smooth, like I want to spread it out. It's got the consistency almost. It's a little more gritty looking, but it's kind of like a cake batter consistency. So we will be able to see here pretty soon. I've got to bake it for 35, I had to look, 35 to 40 minutes. So I love eating things like this in the morning with my tea, when I have a cup of tea in the morning when I get up. And I had to give up coffee because I developed an allergy to the coffee bean. That was a sad day here at the Jackson house. But I can still occasionally drink decaf, but you know, it's just not the same. I've been decaffeinated for a while. So one grows accustomed to things that one must grow accustomed to. All right, y'all, so those of you who are really good cooks, please bear with me because I am certainly not. As you can tell, I'm not smooth, I'm not polished, I'm not any of those things. So let me get this batter off my hands. Okay, now what we're gonna do from this point on is I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and then we'll see you later. My oven's right back here. I'm gonna pop this in there. So see you in just a second. I have set my timer on 35 minutes. It says 35 to 40, but I don't trust my oven all that much, so I set it on 35 minutes, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It normally takes a little longer for my oven to cook, so we'll see how this goes. I'll be right back with you when I pop the thing out of the oven. We'll take a look. So ladies, while we're waiting on this blueberry bread to come out of the oven, let's talk a little bit about learning a new skill. I'm going to tell you folks, I really resist change. I like things to stay the same, and I think that's pretty much par for the course on being a human. But if we don't change and adapt to things, then we're not going to survive very long. I remember when I was a kid reading the book A Wrinkle in Time. In fact, it's still one of my very favorite books of all time. And I can remember reading that book, and I remember a quote from that book, and it was, organisms that don't have the ability to adapt don't last very long. And human beings are actually an organism, a very complex organism, but we are organisms. So we have to have the ability to adapt and change in order to survive in the world that we live in, especially today with new technology coming on the horizon every single moment. So I would encourage you, just as a little side note today, to learn something new today. What is one thing that you can change in your life today, that you can do, that you can make a difference in your life and in the lives of others? What is that one thing? Think about it and try it today. Here comes the little beggar again. As you can see, I have no peace in my household. I just put some Parmesan cheese on her dog food, so hopefully that'll keep her occupied for the next hot minute or two. I don't like to pet Trixie when I'm cooking. I just don't like to do that, and she knows that, and she will continually beg and beg and beg for food when I'm in the kitchen cooking, so we'll see how this goes. Now, while I'm at it today, I'm actually going to make some Martha White chocolate chip muffins for my grandkids. I'm going to keep them today for a couple of hours this afternoon while my son-in-law and daughter have some things to do. So I've got some muffin mix here. While I'm baking, I might as well just go big or go home today. This is easy. I've made these before. So this is my normal mode of baking. We'll just see how this goes. Now, my little ding-dong thing just went off, my little alarm for my oven. And 35 minutes was not long enough in my oven. So I've got it in there for 5 more minutes and we're gonna see what it does. So far, it's looking pretty good. So hang on, guys. Okay, everybody, this is the finished product, and overlook my old pot holders. I need to get some new ones. These are horrible, but look at this. This is the finished product. It feels, I've had my hands on it, I touched it, and it feels light and airy. So I'm gonna take it out of here and we're gonna take a bite of it and see what it tastes like. Hey, everybody, here it is. Look at that. That looks really, really good. So getting ready to take a bite of it. We'll see how that looks. Okay, y'all, here it is. Here's the slice. I'm going to get over here and get some butter. And I'm going to put some butter right on the top of this and let it melt. Look at that. Ooh. That looks so good. That luscious blueberryness. Hang on, guys. Here we go. It's still hot. It's pretty good. Now, let's give my honest opinion. Does this taste anything like a loaf of wheat bread? No, it doesn't. But it's nice, the consistency of it. The consistency of it is really nice. It doesn't taste extremely gritty. It's not overly sweet. I would say you could add some more sugar in here if you want something sweeter, or you might be able to make a glaze and put it on there. But I think this came out great. Look where I've been messing around with this. I have absolutely dug into here like some kind of a starving animal, but I will be making more of these. This is not a difficult bread to make, and it's pretty tasty. I got to give it 2 thumbs up. Listen, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Visit my website, Ninja Life Coaching, and check out my new journal over on Amazon. It's called One Brave Woman. It's a blank page journal for you to put all your thoughts, hopes, and dreams in. God bless you all. I love you guys. Maranatha, I'm going to finish this up.